The 2025 British and Irish Lions hype train is leaving the station. Toot, toot. This is a depth chart looking position by position at all of the contenders for spots in the squad. The ones likely to be on the plane, and really interestingly, the ones where there are massive dogfights going on between players, some of whom are going to be going head to head in Six Nations matches coming up. We've got 2 rounds of the Six Nations underway, so we can judge who's in red hot form. And yeah, looking ahead, in some cases, it's a bit like Highlander. There can be only one. You've got guys going directly head to head in international matchups, and there might only be one seat on the plane for one of them. Fascinating stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm Tim, and this is Egg Chasers. Hit subscribe as well, because I've got more videos like this one coming. This one's on the forwards. Next video will be on the backs. Give the video a thumbs up as well to help me spread the word. Let's crack on. I'm basing this, by the way, on the squad from 2021, which was 37 men. That was the tour to South Africa. So I'm just using that as the framework. And there were 21 forwards and 16 backs in that squad. And among the forwards, which is what I'm looking at on this video, there were 9 front row, 3 in each position, 5 locks and 7 back row. You could argue it was 6 and 6. Well, Tyburn and Courtney Laws both played back row, second row. So they kind of covered that off. But 12 players covering the back 5 of the scrum. So that's what I'm basing this one on. And let's crack straight on with the Loosehead props. 5 contenders as I see it. You've got Andrew Porter, who was selected for the last tour, but had to pull out injured before it. And he was down as a Tighthead prop in that last tour as well. Interestingly, he was replaced by Kyle Sinclair. Ellis Genge, Pierre Schoeman, Finn Baxter, Gareth Thomas. None of them have been on a British and Irish Lions tour before. So Andrew Porter, you'd imagine, will get his opportunity this time, as long as he stays fit. Touch wood for him. And the rest of them would be making their debut on tour if they get the opportunity. As for the Tighthead prop, I have got 4 main contenders in Xander Fagerson and Tig Furlong, who both went on the last tour. And then Will Stewart and Finlay Bealham, maybe in a bit of a dogfight for that final spot. I mean, yes, you could argue there are other players in both positions that are in contention. Loosehead prop Rory Sutherland is the guy that's managed to get the starting job for Scotland currently, and he seems to be back in his 2021 form when he went on a British and Irish Lions tour. So you never know, Rory Sutherland might roar back in to the squad potentially. Tighthead prop, I honestly don't really see any other contenders as it stands, so I'm leaving it like that. I guess you could say Kyle Sinclair, playing very well for Toulon, but no, I'm just going to leave it like that. And Loosehead prop, good as Finn Baxter is, good as Gareth Thomas is, I see them below the other 3, who, assuming they're fit and well, I think deserve to be on the plane. Andrew Porter, Ellis Genge and Pierre Schoeman. The Tighthead prop, it is, I mean, flip a coin for the last spot. Xander Fagerson, Tig Furlong, as long as he's fit and well, but he'll have the chance to prove himself in big Leinster games. Then Furlong goes, Fagerson goes, Stewart or Bealham. I mean, I've just gone for Will Stewart. He's impressed me in November. But Bealham in the last round of the Six Nations was excellent. And he's often not given the credit he deserves. So it could very much be him. It's a battle on for that 3rd spot for me. But that's the way I've gone. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And hooker, equally intense competition for that spot. We'll get into that and the back 5 of the scrum, where it gets very spicy straight after this message. Today's video is brought to you by AG1, which has just excitingly become the official daily nutrition supplement partner for England Rugby, which makes sense. AG1 is trusted by many of the world's top athletes, and now they're supporting England Rugby. And just like the England Rugby team go out on the field with a game plan, I have a game plan for my life as well. You see me grinding on the channel, bringing you the videos every day, going to the grounds. I need some structure. So my set play, if I want to stretch the rugby analogy, is to drink AG1 as part of my morning routine, because then I know that 1 scoop once a day, it's super simple, and I get over 70 ingredients which help promote the focus and the energy that I need, and also support my immune system as well. And I have to say, it does taste decent. I get a little, I definitely get the pineapple when I taste it. So yeah, cheers. Here's to you, Tom Curry, and the rest of the England boys. Keep on going. And subscribe now to get yourself a free bottle of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription by going to drinkag1.com/eggchasers or scan the QR code on the screen now. That's drinkag1.com/eggchasers. And thank you, AG1. Hooker then, 3 spots in a 5-horse race as I see it currently, although that can change. Dan Sheehan, I mean, absolute worldie of a player. Dewi Lake, in an abysmal time for Wales in the last last year, he's actually been a real positive for them. Injured currently, which is a massive shame for him, and he'll be itching to get back and play so that he can prove himself. You've got Jamie George, who's been on the last 2 tours. Ronan Kelleher, who went on the last tour, called up as injury cover and came into the squad. And Ewan Ashman, who has just lost his starting spot at Scotland to Dave Cherry. So could Dave Cherry move up this pecking order? This is why I'm going to revisit this and do this video again several times over the coming weeks and months, building up to Andy Farrell's squad announcement. Other players that could potentially get in, Luke Cowan-Dickie was on the last tour. I kind of don't see that happening, though it could. And he's starting for England. Dewi Lake's got a previous fitness, like I say. Dave Cherry, as I've already mentioned. But really, those are the ones for me. I think Ewan Ashman, good player, but is below the other 4. And I think Dewi Lake, if he proves his fitness, he will go. I think he deserves to. But also, the opportunity to select a Welshman won't be one that Andy Farrell will ignore. But he'll go there. He'd go there on merit, make no mistake. Then it comes down to Jamie George or Ronan Kelleher. Both very, very good players. Both on the last tour. I just think, with his experience, leadership, former international captain, how dependable he is at set-piece time, and the character that he is, which is part of the equation. Everyone talks about Jamie George as just being such a positive energy on tour. And I think that will weigh in his favour. And I think Ronan Kelleher may be the one that misses out, albeit as long as Dewi Lake gets back fit and proves he's as good as he is. As for the second row, and this is where it gets really, really interesting, because remember, there are 12 spots to cover second row and back row. So how you split those up, I mean, you sort of might tweak that based on the players that you have available, and I guess how you want to play. Is Andy Farrell going to come with a particular game plan and then pick the best players to execute that game plan? Or is he going to pick the best players available and then come up with a game plan which gets the best out of those players? I'd like to think it was that second one. I think the ceiling is higher on the potential performance if you approach it like that. However, it's harder to do. And with such a condensed time frame and the need to get a team up and running, maybe that isn't the best way to go. It's going to be interesting to watch. But just trying to select the best players available, how do you approach this? You've got 3 Irishmen, McCarthy, Ryan and Byrne, who, when they're all fit and available, quite often all start in a test match with Byrne in the back row. You've got 3 Englishmen who are battling it out for starting spots in the spot on the bench, Itoje, Martin, Chesham. The Scottish pair, which have just been so dependable for Scotland, Cummings and Gilchrist. Scott Cummings being out injured for the Six Nations is a huge blow for him. And 2 Welshmen there, 1 injured, currently Adam Beard. Such a good line-out forward, was on the last tour, replaced Alan Wynne-Jones. And David Jenkins, who, in a poor year for Wales, has been a real positive for them. But I see, when I look at it, those 2... firstly, I'm going to take Tyburn out of the equation and nudge him into the back row. And you'll see why when we get to the back row. It's just Tyburn's going, isn't he? If he's fit and well and available, he's going. It's probably going to be a test starter. So let's just take him out of the equation and battle it out with the rest. I take the 2 Welsh boys out, not because they're not very good. Adam Beard's not currently playing. David Jenkins, his time will come. And, I mean, now it gets really brutal. You've got to get this down to 5 or 4 players, depending on how you see Tyburn. I take Grant Gilchrist out. And this is where it's so interesting to do this right now, because what is it next weekend? Calcutta Cup. Grant Gilchrist, albeit without Scott Cummings, who's going to be in the stands watching, Grant Gilchrist will be going head-to-head opposite Itoje, Martin, Chesham. Grant Gilchrist will know, as much as the players, when they're asked in interviews, will just say, oh, it's all about the team, just want to do my job for the team. They'll be thinking, if I put in a match, well, Grant Gilchrist would certainly have in his mind, I could make a statement up against those 3 Englishmen. And he could get himself on the plane off the back of one massive performance. It's going to be amazing to watch. As it is currently, I've got Grant Gilchrist missing out. Because he's not playing, I've also got Scott Cummings missing out. I think that could very much change in the weeks and months ahead with big URC games for Glasgow Warriors, because his track record in the last couple of years has been absolutely massive for Scott Cummings. But just currently, right now, today, this is why I will revisit it, because it can change. I've got him outside the squad, leaving a bit of an Anglo-Irish dogfight. And again, do you take all 5 of these players and class Tyburn as a back row, Or do you maybe nudge one of these guys out and have Tyghburn as a lock? That is kind of horses for courses and how you want to play. Do you need a line out forward on the blindside flank? I think that versatility might be what gets Ollie Chesham on the plane, because he can do that job and has done that job at international level very well. I think Maro Itoje is obviously nailed on. I might go James Ryan, because he can do the 4 role and the 5 role. He's a very good line out forward, and I think he might get on the plane for that. Amazingly, James Ryan's never been on a British and Irish Lions tour. So I think it might come down to a bit of a battle between Joe McCarthy and George Martin, who are the same age and do the same role for their team. They just go round carrying hard and smashing people in defence. I'm tempted to pick both. For now, I may revisit it, but I'm going to take George Martin out, which I can't believe I'm saying, because I absolutely love George Martin. This is how brutal it is. So there you go. Itoje, McCarthy, Chesham, Ryan. McCarthy's got to come back and play well. Chesham could, any player could play themselves in or out of a squad. So there we go. Those are the 4 I've gone for. Meaning I'm classing Tyghburn as a second row predominantly who can play in the back row. But I wonder if Andy Farrell might go that Tyghburn is a back row who can slot in at second row, in which case he might pick another lock. Interesting. So I've got 7 or 8 spots left, and I've got 12 back row players here. The 3 Scots back row, Ferguson, Darge, Dempsey, so good for Glasgow and for Scotland. The 3 Irishmen in that back row, Byrne, Van der Fleer, Doris, who've been just exceptional for a long time now. 4 Englishmen, all of them 7s. Sam Underhill currently injured. Tom Curry, a 7 who's doing a really good job playing 6. Ben Earl is a 7 who's doing a really good job playing 8. And Jack Willis, who's not able to play for England at all. Will that count against him? The fact he's not playing international rugby? Will it count against him the fact the top 14 final, should Toulouse get there, will be on the same weekend as the British and Irish Lions tour? Is that a reason why Andy Farrell might say, Jack Willis, you're a great player, but sorry, I can't take you? Maybe. And 2 Welshmen, Aaron Wainwright and Jack Morgan. There are obviously, back row is so hotly contested. There are other players, but these are the ones that I think are the main contenders. Who do you take out? It's rough taking these ones out. So these are all amazing players. There's going to be some exceptional players watching from their sofa. I take Wainwright and Underhill out. Underhill, if you'd asked me in November, is in. Not playing at the moment. And Curry's come in and done amazingly well for England. So Underhill and Wainwright are out. And then this is where it gets really, really tough. So I'm going to flip it round, play my Uno reverse card, and start picking people that I want in. And there's 3 obvious selections. The Irish back row, all in. Arguably all test starters at 6, 7 and 8, or 5, 7 and 8. And so those 3 are definitely in. And honestly, I could sit here till tomorrow debating this and going back and forth and probably change my mind 1,000 times. I'm just sticking with a few decisions. I'm putting Tom Curry in and Ben Earl in. This is where the Six Nations, we've got a Calcutta Cup match coming up. Jack Dempsey opposite Ben Earl. Matt Fagerson opposite Tom Curry. Tom Curry's last 2 performances have been world class. So this is why this picture changes all the time. But Matt Fagerson, over the last couple of years, has been amazing and one of the best blindside flankers, probably the best blindside flanker. With Courtney Lawes not playing for England, he's sort of stepped up and is the best. I assumed he would be on the Lions tour and maybe even starting a test match. I've actually got him currently missing out because of the performance of Tom Curry. But Calcutta Cup game, that could change that picture massively again. Leaving, 3 players and 2 spots. Jack Willis, will his international rugby and club rugby commitments count against him? Rory Darge, Jack Morgan. 2 international captains and a guy that's playing with a bunch of superstars in France. If it were me, I'd pick Jack Willis. His versatility across the back row, 6, 7 and 8, he plays at club level. And the same goes for Jack Morgan. He's a brilliant 7, but he can play 8 and 6. And that versatility, I think, would get him in. But I could see Rory Darge getting in ahead of Jack Willis. because of the issues with Jack Willis not playing international rugby, playing for Toulouse, and Rory Darge is brilliant and an international captain. I think, is that the case? You would have all the international captains in the squad: Caelan Doris, Maro Itoje, Rory Darge, and Jack Morgan. Oh, Shoni Tuipulotu obviously is the Scotland captain, but for the Six Nations it's Rory Darge. But here's what I would do: I would nudge Tadhg Beirne back to a second row and pick them all. And this is on the basis that you're not going to need a line out forward so much, or you need an occasional line out forward. Someone like Jack Willis or Tom Curry or Caelan Doris can do that job. An occasional line out forward, but not a specialist line out forward on your blindside flank. And with the players available, that's how I would do it. So I would take them all. I would take Jack Willis and Tom Curry as potential sixes. Jack Willis plays a lot of six for Toulouse. Van der Fleer and Rory Darge as out-and-out sevens. Jack Morgan can play across the back row. So can Ben Earl and Caelan Doris as an out-and-out number 8. I could see another player going. Maybe Jack Dempsey as an out-and-out 8. Or Aaron Wainwright as a 6-8. I could see another one going. Because that's the squad as I've got it. I've got a feeling I've got one more spot I could select. But I've got them. Let me go through it then. Loosehead prop. Porter, Schoeman, Genge. Any others? Any disagreement there? If I were picking test starters and bench spots as I go through this as well, Andrew Porter's starting right now, and Ellis Genge right now is on the bench. Even a couple of weeks ago, I would have picked Pierre Schoeman, but Ellis Genge has been great, and Schoeman didn't start the last game, so Genge above Schoeman. Tighthead prop, Fagerson, Furlong, so long as he's fit and proves his fitness and is well, and Will Stewart just over Finlay Bealham, and I've got Fagerson starting, Furlong on the bench. Sheehan, Dewi Lake, fitness allowing, and Jamie George just over Ronan Kelleher, and I would go Sheehan starting, George on the bench. Second row, I'm classing Tadhg Beirne as a lock really. Itoje and Beirne to start. McCarthy, Chesham, Ryan fighting out a spot on the bench. That spot on the bench for me might go to James Ryan right now. I think Ollie Chesham could play himself into that spot. And the back row, Curry and Willis, along with Beirne, and a bit of Chesham can cover 6. Van der Fleer, Morgan, Darge, 3 exceptional 7s. Doris and Earl as the number 8s in the squad. And I would pick to start Willis, Van der Fleer, Doris, with Tom Curry on the bench. Have I got the right number there? 7, 14... Yeah, 21. 21. There's your 21. So the picture will change. Massive. I mean, so what's that currently? 8 Irishmen, 8 Englishmen, 3 Scots and 2 Welshmen. I think the number of Scots could go up a couple. Matt Fagerson and Scott Cummings could come back in. 100% Jack Dempsey could get in. And the Calcutta Cup game, like I say, is absolutely huge. As for the starting team, I went for 5 Irishmen, 2 Englishmen and a Scotsman. I think it probably tells you where the balance of power lies currently. We'll see, won't we? I'll have the backs coming on another video very soon. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss that. Hit the little notification bell, that always helps. So does giving the video a thumbs up, helps me spread the word, because this whole operation is just me. Just me. No marketing budget. No one doing anything else. So I really need your help to help spread the word. And get stuck in the comments down below. I'll be there with you.